I wanted to watch a video that apparently might get the creator because somebody allegedly has discovered how to replicate Coca-Cola, which all I know of the Coca-Cola recipe, this is genuinely all I know. Somebody who worked at Coke went to Pepsi headquarters with the Coke recipe that they stole, offered to like sell it to Pepsi, and then Pepsi turned them in and refused to take it. And I thought this shit was a secret. The only thing I knew about the Coke recipe is that some diners still do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm curious what this video is about.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Lab Coats. Did you know Coca-Cola is the world's most popular non-alcoholic beverage?
Yeah, I feel like it's the world's most popular beverage, period, right? Cut the alcohol, including alcohol. Is there an alcoholic beverage more popular? I don't think so. Water? I guess, yeah, I mean, I was thinking like a unique identity. Like, sure, all water beats it. But I think that would also defeat his premise, no? Sorry, okay, be less, what's the word I'm looking for? Be less technically correct. Pull the Redditor out of your mind a bit and engage maybe more faithfully. Like, we're talking about a product. So like, you know, if you're comparing all coffee to Coke, we're not really having a fair discussion, you know, because coffee's a million different things. Coffee's not one thing. Coffee is not... tea, to every tea, you know what I mean? Like, the question is, what's the most popular like beverage, like individually? And he's saying it's Coke. He's the most popular non-alcoholic. All I'm adding is, would there be an alcoholic beverage that is more popular? And I don't think so. But I mean, the most popular alcoholic beverage, not category, wine, no, dummy, all beer. No, listen, it's probably Bud Light. Right? Actually, maybe it's not Bud Light. I feel like Bud Light's not big enough outside of the States. Heineken could be it. Heineken doesn't seem like too bad of a guess. No way it's Guinness. No universe it's Guinness. Most popular beer by sales. Modelo. Michelob. Oh, no, this is the US. Worldwide. The most popular beer by volume is Snow Beer, which is a Chinese brand, but Heineken, Corona, Budweiser, and Bud Light are all in the conversation as well. Okay.
Point is, Coca-Cola is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Practically every human being on the planet knows what it is. And yet, despite existing for almost 140 years, only a handful of people actually know what it's made of.
Coca-Cola and cigarettes has doomed the island nation of Tuvalu. They have like a 60% obesity rate. According to the company, only 2 employees are privy to the complete formula at any given time, and they are not permitted to travel together. When one dies, the other must choose a successor. Like, what is this, the Dalai Lama? They must choose a successor within the company and impart the secret to that person, the identity of the 2 employees. When they are a baby, they are shown several different sodas. If they choose the Coke, then when they turn 13, they are given the recipe.
With protective measures so extreme that they're almost laughable. Seriously, they have a giant steel vault that they show off on guided tours. Does that not sound like something straight out of SpongeBob?
That must be for show, right? Like, there's nothing in the vault. They just have like the vault as a mystique. Is their recipe even secret? I mean, I guess it is. I don't know it.
And if that wasn't enough, the ingredients are all shipped unlabeled and from entirely different facilities, who are kept almost entirely in the dark about what they're making. So much effort, all for a soft drink that the company half-heartedly promotes with horribly out-of-touch AI commercials.
Dude, oh my God! Thank you for reminding me. The fucking AI Coke commercial was so bad. It was so bad. I cannot believe that they approved that to be uploaded. It was so embarrassing, bro. And by the way, I've been watching a fuck ton of commercials because I've been watching a lot of football, and most of watching football is watching commercials. There are so many AI commercials nowadays. Like, I'm playing guess if it's AI more often than not while watching commercials. So many, bro. Like, so many pharmaceutical companies are running AI in their commercial. It's crazy.
Wouldn't it be funny if somebody managed to steal the secret formula right from under their noses, piece together a chemically identical beverage with the exact same flavor, and then tell absolutely everyone on the internet how to make it themselves?
Yeah, that'd be funny.
To most sane people, this probably sounds like a fool's errand. After all, many have attempted the quest and invariably came up short. Trust me, I tried all their formulations, none of them tasted like real Coke. So, is this even possible?
Yeah, of course.
Well, in theory, yes. One article from 2016 theorized that the recipe could be deciphered with the help of mass spectrometry, although the author basically concluded that only a major group like Pfizer would have the time and resources to actually do so. Guess this was before science YouTubers got serious, cause I actually have 2 YouTube friends with 2 different kinds of mass spectrometers, and one even happens to be a college professor. Yeah, we're coming for you, Coca-Cola.
Dude, okay. I feel like he is blowing up his friend's spot right now. I feel like he's doing the, come out, guys, they got us. Like, you are cracking a tightly held secret that apparently 2 people get and they have to pass it on after they die. And you're just blowing up your friend's spot right now because they got a spectrometer or whatever the hell you said.
Oh, but Zach, Coca-Cola uses coca leaves. You can't possibly hope to replicate it without...
Have you heard of chemicals? I'm aware that whatever I make won't be absolutely identical down to the trace contaminants. But if I add all of the major flavoring agents that are detected in real Coca-Cola, I should get something that tastes like Coke, regardless of if it came from a coca plant.
Fair. What? I thought they don't use coca plant anymore. Am I crazy?
And spoiler alert,
Dude.
Yeah, I can't even tell. Even though I know already, I can't even tell.
I wasn't expecting it to taste so much like Coke. Oh my god.
this approach actually works pretty freaking well. And in regards to legality, well, Coca-Cola hasn't actually patented the recipe. Seriously.
Oh, because if you patent it, you have to show the recipe?
Doing so would require them to expose what they're actually patenting, and that's obviously not something they want to do. Consequently, unless I try marketing my own product under the Coca-Cola name, there's really nothing they can do about it. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get cooking.
Okay, let's get cooking.
Now, believe it or not, we already know over 99% of Coca-Cola's makeup. At least
Why'd he spoil the reveal? Because this video would be really like a waste of time for everyone if he was like, well, it was actually a failure and it doesn't taste like Coke at all. The video's less about does it taste like Coke? It's more like what's in Coke?
a liter of Coke contains roughly 110 grams of sugar, 96 milligrams of caffeine, and 0.64 grams of phosphoric acid.
Okay.
Based on pH measurements and other scientific analysis.
Dude, that is so much sugar. That is so much sugar. And that's not that much caffeine. I'm surprised.
It also contains caramel color, which contributes important flavor compounds like furfural, in addition to the cola's rich brown hue. What we don't know is what makes up the last ingredient: natural flavors. This is where the real battle begins. As of 2025, only one of the natural flavors can be definitively verified: decoconized coca leaf extract.
Decoconized.
The Stepan Company in New Jersey is one of the only American companies licensed to work with coca leaves. And guess who they sell the extract to once the cocaine is removed?
Coca-Cola.
Cola nut extract was also used at one point, but it was phased out in favor of refined caffeine. I tried finding my own source of cocaine-free coca extract, but companies like Power Leaves never returned my emails, and the package I bought from this definitely not sketchy Peruvian website got seized at the border. So basically I was at square one like every other non-Coca-Cola entity.
You just bought Coke, bro. Just to be clear, you just bought Coke from Peru.
Which meant I had to work up the entire flavor profile from scratch. At first, I thought this might be fairly easy. I mean, several cola recipes are already published, including the original Pemberton Coca-Cola from 1886, so I figured it'd simply be a matter of tweaking these until I got something that fit. Long story short, I was very, very wrong. As a starting point, most recipes call for the following set of flavors: orange,
Okay.
lemon,
Yep.
lime, coriander, nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla, and neroli.
What the hell is the last one? This is a good lineup, though. This would be yummy.
A few other ingredients that get suggested include black pepper, lavender, clove, and kaffir lime
Definitely don't throw in black pepper or lavender. Clove, maybe.
leaf. So I bought all these flavors as essential oils from reputable vendors. Using essential oils in food might sound a bit strange, but rest assured this is fairly standard practice in the food and beverage industry, as it allows for very precise and repeatable combination of flavors. To run my early trials, I would measure precise volumes of each oil using a micropipette, and combine them in a small vial. Once mixed, the required amount of flavor oil would be dissolved in roughly 1 milliliter of food-grade alcohol, which helps it disperse into the soda instead of clumping into droplets. This was an issue I faced when I made root beer from sassafras oil a few years ago, and the ethanol practically eliminates it without throwing off the flavor. Finally, the flavor mixture will be measured and added to a predetermined volume of soda, which was made with the established proportions of acid, caffeine, caramel color, and sugar. Pretty straightforward.
This is not straightforward. This seems like the slowest process of all time ever. He's just guessing and checking. This would take so long. This would take so crazy long. This is how I used to fucking solve math problems. And this worked right up until pre-calc. Like basically every year math was just brute forcing the equation by randomly guessing a number. I basically fucking did math like I triangulate a stronghold. Like that's all I did. Just guess a number, put in the equation. If it popped out something that was too high, I'd put a lower number. Too low, then I put something in between the two. And I just keep going until I get it right. That's literally how I did math. Like my whole life. Pre-calc fucked me again though. That shit was bad.
I attempted to use something called an orthogonal array to perform my analysis. Nighthawk and Light has an excellent video explaining how these work, which I highly recommend you check out. But basically, an orthogonal or Taguchi array is a type of mathematical table that allows you to find meaningful correlations with a relatively small number of trials. In my case, I was hoping to determine which flavors contributed the most to the flavor of cola. Unfortunately, the human mouth perceives flavor mixtures in really complicated ways, so my results were highly inconclusive. And often disgusting. Yeah,
and it's also like not consistent person to person, right? Like, okay, everyone, let's do this. Will be a fun little game. With one word, describe the flavor of Coke. Just one word, and try your best. Be honest. Don't just say like poop. Cinnamon, sweet, spicy, prickly. Okay, caramely, acidic, syrupy, gassy, artificial, chemical, fizzy, sharp, peppermint. You wrote bear. I don't know. Vanilla, clove. Licorice, malt, formidable, tangy. It's kind of hard. What's funny is a lot of you guys have very different answers to this question. A lot of you guys, outside of the carbonation inside, flavor profile wise, have very different opinions on what the word should be to describe the flavor.
In terms of flavors, nutmeg, cinnamon, and coriander seem to contribute the most to the iconic cola flavor.
That sounds right to me.
But not without a strong citrus base composed of lemon and lime.
It does have a strong citrus base, I agree.
At the same time, flavors like neroli and lavender just didn't seem to work in the modern profile.
I agree.
They added a strong floral note that isn't found in today's Coke, and also made it taste like artificial sweeteners were being used. And despite showing up in most recipes, orange didn't really seem to fit either.
Really?
At least not in the large amounts that are usually suggested.
Okay.
1 to 2% ended up being the sweet spot. And while modestly important to the flavor, higher amounts would begin to throw off the citrus notes. Of the other flavors I tested, Kaffir lime leaf was by far the most out of place, since it basically tasted like citronella. Clove was similarly overbearing and noticeably different from the spices found in Coke, while black pepper and vanilla contrastingly seemed to do very little. I mean, if I really boosted the vanilla, it was detectable and the perceived sweetness would go up, but black pepper mostly just seemed to accentuate the more earthy flavors already found in nutmeg.
Fair.
Now, while I did gather at least a rough idea of what's in Coca-Cola from these...
Who even knows how lavender tastes? Lavender is a pretty popular flavor profile, I think, no? I feel like I know what lavender tastes like. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. I've had my share of London fogs with lavender.
I still had no idea what the correct ratios were, or what ingredients I was missing. So to find out, I cracked out my secret weapons: scientific papers and chemical analysis. In terms of analysis, Vince from Neptunium and Ben from Mass Spec Everything agreed to analyze Coca-Cola, my ingredients, and a few similar sodas like Pepsi using their mass spectrometers.
Okay.
These machines essentially take a tiny sample of whatever you want, split it into chemical fractions using either a liquid or gas chromatography column, and then analyze each fraction by ionizing and firing its components through a magnetic field.
Oh, okay. Duh. Right, that makes sense.
Much like a prism splitting up light, the magnetic field splits up ions based on their mass.
Right, yeah.
Giving a sort of fingerprint that can be used to identify what chemical was ionized.
It'll identify, right.
That's the explanation. And this is the exact chemical makeup of Coca-Cola.
Okay. So we know there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 things in it. And 2 of them, they really used a bunch of. Let me guess. This one's water. This has to be water, right?
Let's dissect its secrets, shall we? The dominant peak we found was something called alpha-terpineol.
That might be a way to describe water?
Which mostly arises from the acid-catalyzed hydrolysis of limonene and pinene. And it hints that citrus oils do in fact make up a large portion of Coke's flavor. The next major peak is actually the remaining limonene, followed by 4-terpineol and fenchol.
What's fenchel? What's fenchel?
Cinnamaldehyde, saponine, and carine were also detected,
Cinnamaldehyde's probably cinnamon.
indicating the presence of cinnamon and nutmeg. And finally, we found eucalyptol, borneol, furfural from the caramel color, and ethyl levolinate. Levolinic acid and its esters form when sugars like fructose are heated under
Why do they give them a stupid fucking name when they go to science? Like, why is it cinnamon? And then when it's like the cinnamon ion, it's like cinema. It's like a fucking Eminem lyric. Like, what is this? Why can't we just call it cinnamon? Cinnamaldehyde. What is that?
which suggests the Coca-Cola undergoes heating at some point during its production. Now, this is all well and good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we couldn't pin down the exact concentration of each component using this data.
Why?
You see, a mass spectrometer's output is given as a plot of relative intensity,
Sure.
not concentration.
What does that mean?
If you want concentration, you usually have to do a lot of math and other testing to figure out how different chemicals interact with the machine.
Oh.
So, instead of relying purely on the mass spectrometry data we collected, I chose to also lean on the data from this article in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry. This table in particular listed pretty much every flavor found in Coca-Cola, and even gave their measured concentrations.
GG.
There were a few flavors they left out, such as fenchel, but I figured once the concentrations of other ingredients were determined, these secondary flavors would be easy to dial in with the help of mass spectrometry.
What the fuck is fenchel?
I won't
Fenchel
be going
gate.
through every chemical on this list, but there are a few I'd like to point out that reveal important
Did I say
information
no
about
anal?
the secret formula. Obviously, cinnamaldehyde and vanillin can be directly correlated with cinnamon and vanilla, so we can check those off as part of Coke's recipe.
Okay.
Limonene and alpha-terpineol are also present, along with aldehydes like octanol, nonanol, and
Non-anal.
decanol, which collectively signal the strong presence of citrus oils. This is all stuff we mostly knew. Things get interesting, though, with linalool and the various forms of eugenol. Eugenol and its esters make up 80 to 90% of clove oil, which is one of the suggested ingredients that people reference from time to time. However, the concentrations found in Coke are only enough to account for the traces contributed by nutmeg and cinnamon oils, which are much more definitive ingredients. And since clove oil threw off the flavor in my early tests, I think it's fairly safe to rule it out as a potential flavor.
Okay, that's fair.
Sticking with ingredients we already discussed, linalool also rules out a few potential flavors. To explain how, though, we need to talk about enantiomers. Basically,
Okay, let's lock in. Enantiomers.
for a molecule like linalool, two mirrored versions exist, R and S.
Right.
You can flip them around all you want, but no orientation will make them identical.
Okay.
Interestingly, the R enantiomer of linalool makes up the majority of both lavender and neroli oils,
Right.
while the S enantiomer makes up the majority of coriander oil. And, according to the study, Coca-Cola contains mostly S-linalool, with the amount of R-linalool only being enough to cover what would come from the citrus oils.
So
Some
it's
might argue
coriander.
that chemicals like neral and nerol signify the presence of neroli, but this simply isn't the case.
Right.
These compounds are found in citrus oils just like linalool.
Okay.
Meaning we can pretty-definitively say neroli
Not
and lavender
in
are not ingredients
Coke.
in Coke.
Gotcha.
The last chemical I'm going to bring up is
Water.
acetic acid.
Fuck.
To me, this one was kind of a shock, especially with it being the third most prominent flavor by mass. My first thought was that it was simply arising from the acid-catalyzed breakdown of acetate esters in the cola.
Right.
But after talking with Darcy over on the Art of Drink channel, and seeing it in an actual recipe from the 1950s, I'm almost certain that's being added deliberately.
Okay.
To be clear, the amounts being used are in the range of parts per million. But I still find it kind of funny that vinegar is probably one of the secret ingredients.
That's fair.
With the major flavoring compounds identified and correlated with existing ingredients, I set up an Excel spreadsheet to make iterating my recipes a bit easier. A mixing calculator would basically take the volume of each oil being added, determine how much of each component was present, and then compare that data with the Coca-Cola numbers. Once everything was matching, I would take the recipe, log it on a separate tab with notes about the soda it made, and finally rank how close it was to real Coke.
Dude, you really dedicated a year of your life to this shit. He was dedicated to the craft. He's a chemist version of Kai Cenat, sewing at, denim at his sewing machine. He's really out here. He's about it.
Unfortunately, while most of the flavor compounds could be easily connected to at least one of the essential oils, there were a few that just weren't showing up on the mass spectrum.
Okay.
Specifically, fenchel and 4-terpineol.
Yeah, what's up with that? Where's the fenchel? Where'd they hide it?
Originally, alpha-terpineol was also on this list, but after modifying my soda preparation to include heating, there was more than enough of it to go around. For the fenchel, I simply resorted to buying the raw chemical. But for 4-terpineol, I started down a completely new rabbit hole. You see, the taste of Coca-Cola can be divided into a few main groups. The two we've tackled so far, and the two most people stop at, are citrus and brown spices.
Yep.
Along with less pronounced subgroups like caramel and vanilla. What most people tend to overlook are the more green, fresh flavors that seem to come from the coca leaf.
Oh, yeah, I guess and you guys ignore that too, actually. When I asked you for the word, very few people said pine or herbal or cooling.
Without these flavors, you tend to end up with a more spice-centered drink like Pepsi. So, for my source of 4-terpineol, I decided to go with an essential oil that I felt would reintroduce those missing flavors. Tea tree oil.
Okay.
By mass, this stuff is close to 50% 4-terpineol, and most of the other chemicals it contains match up with those found in Coca-Cola, so it doesn't really mess up the mass spectrum.
Cool.
When I began using it, I noticed an immediate improvement in the flavor, although it never fully replenished the missing freshness. Overall, it was more like drinking Diet Coke than regular Coke, and no amount of tweaking or adding essential oils seemed to change that. I spent months adjusting the recipe, testing new ingredients, and forcing family members to taste my experiments. Eventually, my original soda stream gave out, and I had to buy a second one.
This is starting to become unreasonably expensive.
I tested cassia cinnamon versus cinnamon leaf, different versions of nutmeg and lime, heating and aging versus not, even adding trace flavors like isobutyl. Heck, I even tested completely random flavors to see if they'd fill in what was lacking. They never did. After a certain point, I was pretty close to throwing in the towel. Maybe people were right to say that Coca-Cola is impossible to replicate without coca leaves. And then, the answer finally hit me. Coca leaf extract is essentially a type of tea, and teas contain tannins.
What is that?
These tannins possess a dry, astringent taste that can help mask sweet flavors. And since they're non-volatile, they don't usually show up on gas-based mass spectrums, explaining how I missed them for so long. Best of all, they're sold in a purified state for winemaking, meaning I could quickly...
Oh, I know what a tannin is. It's like in wine. Is that the tannicity? Isn't that what ain't that what makes it go in the wine?
Get a hold of a sample
tannic
and
wine?
test out my theory. And it was all worth it. This is the mass spectrum of Coca-Cola.
Okay.
And this is the mass spectrum of one of my replicas. They are nearly identical. And the flavor, well, what can I say? It tastes like Coke. There are tiny differences, of course, but honestly, this stuff is closer to classic Coke than Coke's own glass bottle or Diet Colas are.
This stuff is closer to classic Coke than it's... wait, but what's classic Coke? How would you know that? What's classic Coke? Glass bottle is better? Is it different? Oh, like Mexican Coke?
Infinitely closer than any other replica. It definitely checks out as Coca-Cola, at least to me. We'll get to other people's reactions and opinions here in a minute.
Okay.
But first, let me show you exactly how it's made.
Please.
Brief spoiler, the startup cost for this recipe can be kinda high, unless you have a pre-existing stockpile of essential oils and accurate measuring equipment.
Okay.
Once you have everything though, you can easily produce a bulk flavor solution that will last for years, and allow you to create servings of Coke for mere pennies. No more paying a company that won't even pay real animators. In terms of hardware, we'll need a mass scale, an adjustable micropipette that can accurately dispense up to 1,000 microliters, a 50 milliliter graduated cylinder,
Chad, should we make Coke?
some 1 liter storage bottles, and some kind of heat-resistant glassware for making the syrup.
I said it before I looked at all the ingredients. Like, this is above my pay grade. I'm sorry. I offered it out because it sounded cool, but like he kept putting stuff on the table, bro. Like, I'm sorry. There's so much on the table right now. I can't do this.
Resist the temptation to use metal cookware, since phosphoric acid can attack it and dissolve less than healthy metals into the soda. There's a reason soda cans have that plastic liner. Finally, you can also use a magnetic stirrer for mixing, as well as a 1 liter volumetric flask to make the dilution steps a bit easier.
Okay.
For ingredients, we have all the essential oils seen here: sugar, carbonated water, caffeine, caramel color, food-grade alcohol, 85% phosphoric acid.
Okay. Wow. So it's 104 grams of sugar, carbonated water, 1 milliliter of flavor solution A, and 10 milliliters of flavor solution B. Flavor solution A seems to be the like lemon lime, the citrusy, the spice based, and then the cooling. Flavor B is the caramel, the phosphoric acid, the glycerin, the vinegar, the vanilla extract, the tannins, and the caffeine. Is that just dries and liquids? Is that why you think they're separate?
And fenchol. Quick note, Fenchol melts just above room temperature, so you might need to warm it up in some hot water before beginning. I bought my sample on Amazon, and after testing it, I can confirm its flavor is present in Coke, so use it if you can. For caramel color, I used Shank's brand, but
Shank's.
other varieties like Durkee should work just as well, as long as they're composed of actual caramel color and not a mix of red and green food dyes. If you don't use Shank's though, try playing with the amounts you add to get the right color. Also, keep in mind that we are working with chemicals here, including a few that are mildly hazardous.
Okay.
So, for your own safety, wear gloves, measure accurately, and don't taste any of the unmixed ingredients.
Thank you.
The first step is to prepare what most people call the 7X flavoring, which is the mixture of essential oils and alcohol that make up the Coca-Cola secret formula. To be clear, what I'm about to share is not the Coca-Cola secret formula, since I failed to utilize decoconized coca leaf extract. Chemically though, it's about as close as you can get without it.
Okay.
And the real deal should be fairly similar. The recipe is 45.8 milliliters lemon, 36.5 milliliters lime.
Okay, like, are we kind of bullshitting a bit? Like, not on some hater shit. Like, obviously, you put a lot of work into this. 0.8? Like, did you try it just 46 flat and that didn't hit? Like, why the 0.8?
1.2 milliliters orange, 8 milliliters tea tree, 4.5 milliliters cassia cinnamon, 2.7 milliliters nutmeg.
He is using micro pipettes, you're right.
0.7 milliliters coriander, and 0.6 milliliters fenchol. And optimally, you'd let this mixture age for a day or two before continuing. Art of Drink has an excellent video explaining why, and even the original Pemberton version of Coca-Cola includes this aging step. In the end, you'll be rewarded with about 100 milliliters of flavor oil, which is enough for over 5,000 liters of soda.
What? How many liters? Are you fucking crazy? 5,000 liters. That's like at least like a year, maybe two.
Or about as much as your mom drinks in a day.
Like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. What do you know about my mother? Fucking asshole, man.
To make the 7X solution, simply dilute 20 milliliters of the flavor oil to a volume of 1 liter using food-grade alcohol. And before anyone gets worried, the amount of alcohol being added to the final soda is 5 times less than what you get from a non-alcoholic beer.
Wait, grain alcohol?
Other flavor extracts like vanilla or almond use ethanol as a solvent. This is no different. Still, if alcohol is an issue, you can emulsify the oil into water with the help of gum arabic. Check out Glenn and Friends Cooking to see how he does this with his cola. Anyway, next, we'll need to make a secondary water-based solution containing the other ingredients.
Okay.
Aside from sugar and...
So ethanol-based solution is the difference between solution A, solution B. That's the only difference. One is water-soluble, the other is not water-soluble, so you have to use ethanol.
Into roughly 200 milliliters of hot water, measure out 10 milliliters of 5% vinegar, 9.65 grams of caffeine, 175 grams of glycerin, 45 milliliters of 85% phosphoric acid, 8 grams of wine tannins, 10 milliliters of vanilla extract, and 320 milliliters of Shank's caramel color.
Oh, there's so much caramel color. Holy fuck. Oh my God, you are dumping that. That's still going.
In case you're wondering, the glycerin is being added for texture and mouthfeel. Without it, the drink tends to feel a bit thinner and more like diet soda. Also, if using vanilla extract feels imprecise, you can alternatively mix up a solution containing 9.5 grams per liter of vanillin and use 1 milliliter of that. Given the fairly limited impact vanilla seems to have though, you probably wouldn't notice a major difference. Give each ingredient time to fully incorporate before adding the next, and once everything is dissolved, dilute the mixture to a final volume of 1 liter using water. Now, let's make some Coca-Cola. For this demo, I'll be making 1 liter,
Okay.
just so scaling up or down is a bit easier. Into a glass dish, add 104 grams of sugar, and just enough water to dissolve everything. I know I said 110 grams of sugar per liter of soda at the beginning of the video,
Yeah.
but here's the deal. That's for a mixture of fructose and glucose, like you'd find in corn syrup. If we add 110 grams of sucrose, or cane sugar, the phosphoric acid will cause it to react with the water and form nearly 116 grams of those simpler sugars.
What? Okay, so you get 6 more sugars?
That would throw off the sweetness of the drink, so we use less sugar to compensate.
Okay. How do you make more sugar? Okay, you make more sugar. Tune back in. Are we making drugs? We're making Coke. So I guess, yeah, in a way.
10 milliliters of the water-based solution, and 1 milliliter of the alcohol-based 7X solution.
1 milliliter. Look how little you use. No wonder it makes 5,000 liters, bro. What a small amount, man.
You might need a few extra drops of the 7X solution. It really depends on your taste. As soon as everything is combined, microwave or otherwise heat the mixture until nearly boiling, and cover to prevent the more volatile flavors from escaping. Heating like this helps the phosphoric acid break down compounds like limonene and citral, and it also accelerates that sugar hydrolysis reaction we just talked about.
Okay.
So it's a fairly crucial step. Once fully cooled, dilute the syrup to a volume of 1 liter with cold carbonated water. This can either be bought or made yourself using a soda stream. Just don't attempt to carbonate the fully mixed soda on the machine. It tends to produce a lot of foam, which can lead to bacterial growth if you're not careful.
Makes sense.
And this is our finished Coca-Cola. You can drink it directly, but if you want the most accurate version of the final flavor, allow the soda to rest for a day or so in the fridge. And again, while the flavor is as close as I could get to Coke after a year of trying, and certainly closer than any other clone I've tasted, there is still room for perfection. So if you have the ingredients,
I've never seen this before, by the way. I didn't know like how a bottle went on a glass can, but this is like blowing my mind.
feel free to experiment. And for future reference, I'll have the most up-to-date version of the recipe in the video description. Of course, I could go on and on about how I think my cola tastes, but what do other people think?
Yeah.
Is this a convincing replica, or just another Pemberton knockoff?
Okay.
Well, I set up several blind and non-blind taste tests, and people actually had trouble telling it apart from real Coke.
I'm excited to see the blind taste test.
This is regular Coke, see, I can't even tell. Even though I know already, I can't even tell.
9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. That's pretty good.
That tastes pretty close. Like, I may not be able to tell if these are side by side with the original taste.
You know, that is definitely, Coke, or a Coke product. If you said it was vanilla Coke or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, maybe that's definitely Coke.
I think this is more similar to this bottle than this is to that bottle, which is crazy to think about now that I said that out loud.
Yeah, that's a Coke product. I wasn't expecting it to taste so much like Coke. Oh my gosh, hold on, I gotta go again.
I gotta go again.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, like if you sold this on the shelves, I'd buy it.
Regular Coke drinkers were better picking mine out from the mix, but the general consensus was that Lab Cola could be mistaken for Coke, and not other colas like Pepsi. When tasted on its own, without Coca-Cola as a direct reference, people overwhelmingly thought it was the real deal, unlike the Pemberton recipe, Open Cola, and other clones I had them try.
Yeah, that's not Coke. Oh.
So it tastes like Coke if you haven't had Coke in a while. So it's he basically made something reminiscent of Coke. It reminds you of Coke. And you're like, that's probably Coke. And then you have Coke and you're like, oh, that's not Coke. But it's pretty close to Coke.
No, that's not Coke. No, that's not even, it's a cola, but that's not Coke. That is just straight flour.
It's very cinnamony to me. That's almost pure cinnamon.
Like like those little candies.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not Coke.
All right, I think that's finally it. 2025 is coming to a close, and it has been an insane year for this channel. Thanks to everyone's support, I was able to take on crazy projects like making fluorine gas at home, preparing oleum piranha solution, and putting a 360 camera probe in front of a tornado. Stay tuned for that adventure.
Bro, what are we doing on YouTube anymore? Like, what is going on?
2026 is shaping up to be another great year for lab coats, although there are a few changes on the way. If all goes well, I'll be graduating in May with my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering.
Wait, W.
Regarding projects, I have several chemistry-themed ones planned out, including making taurine for my own energy drink, and finally finishing my work with super stenches by taking on tellurium. I also bought over $1,000 worth of capacitors to build a plasma gun.
Okay. Be safe, dude. I don't know what to tell you. You gotta be safe, bro. You're going a little crazy this year.